They tell you it's a natural cycle. They tell you it's just market corrections. But what if the very system designed to protect you was actually engineered to entrap you? What if the constant inflation, the crushing debt, the instability in your job isn't a bug, but a feature? A century-old mechanism hidden in plain sight, pulling the strings of your financial reality. Where are you watching from? Drop a comment below. Hit that subscribe button for the unfiltered truth, because today we're exposing the architect of America's 99% debt trap. Cast your mind back to the early 20th century. The titans of industry, the banking dynasties, they saw chaos, panics, bank runs, a wild west of finance. The narrative we've been fed is that the Federal Reserve was created to bring order, stability, to be the lender of last resort. A noble idea, right? But the secret meetings, the hushed discussions on Jekyll Island in 1910, they weren't just about stability. They were about control. A private central bank disguised as a public good, given the power to print money, control interest rates, and dictate economic policy. Sound familiar? Think about it. Before the Fed, the boom and bust cycles were severe, yes, but often shorter, more localized. Afterwards, we get the Great Depression. We get stagflation. We get the subprime mortgage crisis. Each time, the Fed steps in, solving the problem with more liquidity, more debt. Sound familiar? It's like giving a pyromaniac a fire extinguisher and a new can of gasoline. The early 20th century saw the birth of unprecedented corporate power, the rise of industrial giants, and the consolidation of wealth. The creation of the Fed ensured these same interests had a direct conduit to influence the very arteries of the nation's money supply. Sound familiar? Today, we see unprecedented wealth inequality, a shrinking middle class, and a financial system that seems perpetually on the brink, always too big to fail. The echoes of a century ago are deafening. But the true genius, the insidious masterstroke in this grand design, wasn't just the creation of a central bank. It was the introduction of a financial weapon, so complex, so opaque, that it would allow the very system itself to expand infinitely, masking its true intentions. This weapon? It's called fractional reserve banking, and it's not what you think. It's the engine of our modern debt trap, allowing banks to create money out of thin air, leveraging every dollar you deposit into 10 or 20 more. This mechanism, codified and blessed by the new Federal Reserve, set the stage for something far more sinister. It unleashed a beast that would devour the future. But there's a deeper layer, a secret agreement that amplifies this beast. You won't believe his name, or the actual evidence behind how this system fundamentally changed the nature of our money and our freedom forever. Let's get into the guts of this beast. Fractional reserve banking, turbocharged by the Federal Reserve. Imagine you deposit $100 into your bank. Conventional wisdom says your money is just sitting there. But what actually happens? The bank is only required to hold a fraction of that, say 10%. That means they can lend out $90 of your original deposit. Now, the person who borrows that $90 deposits it into their bank. That bank, in turn, keeps 10%, $9, and lends out $81. This process repeats exponentially. Your initial $100 deposit has now expanded into hundreds, even thousands of dollars of new money circulating in the economy, all created as debt. This isn't just lending. It's money creation. This is parasitic finance at its core. The illusion is that this is sustainable growth. The reality is engineered destruction. Each new dollar created is a loan, a debt, someone else's future earnings already spent. And who benefits? The banks, who collect interest on money they literally conjured. The ultra-wealthy, who get first access to this newly created credit before inflation takes hold. The average citizen? They bear the burden of ever-increasing prices, a devalued currency, and an insatiable need to borrow more just to keep up. Let's look at the numbers. Since the Fed's inception in 1913, the purchasing power of the dollar has plummeted by over 96%. Think about that. What cost you $1 then now costs you over $25. This isn't just inflation, It's a systematic erosion of your wealth, a transfer mechanism from the many to the few. Consider the 2008 financial crisis. The Fed, instead of allowing a natural correction, injected trillions of dollars into the banking system, bailing out the very institutions responsible for the meltdown. They called it quantitative easing. By 2014, their balance sheet swelled from $800 billion to over $4.5 trillion. Where did that money come from? Thin air. This was not about stabilizing the economy. It was about protecting the architects of the financial system from the consequences of their own greed. And now, post-pandemic, the Fed's balance sheet has soared to nearly $9 trillion. This explosion of money creation fuels asset bubbles, making housing unaffordable, making stocks detached from reality. This isn't free market capitalism. It's a centrally planned command economy disguised by layers of complexity. It's moral hazard on an industrial scale, where the risks are socialized and the profits are privatized. This entire structure is a grand illusion, built on borrowed time, designed to keep us chasing an ever-receding horizon of prosperity, while the true value of our labor is siphoned away. The modern system, fueled by digital transactions and global interconnectedness, means the next collapse won't be confined to a single market. It will be faster, more global, and far more severe. We are living on borrowed time, trusting institutions that have repeatedly shown their true allegiances. The lesson is simple. Denial is a luxury we can no longer afford. We need to understand the game, or we will forever be its pawns. Share this video, spark the conversation, subscribe for more truths they don't want you to hear. Because the question remains, are we wiser now, or walking the same path in better suits?